Using crafts as a team process. Hi, I'm Louise from OTGrow. Welcome to our YouTube channel and welcome to part 4 of our series, Using Crafts in Groups. I'm really excited to be getting to past the halfway mark of this series, and we are unpacking today how to use crafts as a team process. Again, just a reminder, as I explain this to you, keep asking yourself, is there intervention from a therapist, a therapeutic intervention? Is there a group intervention where the whole is being facilitated? In other words, it's not everybody on their own. And what is the goal that will be achieved? So today we're talking about using crafts as a group process. Now, what I really like about this is that the group that you are journeying with, and again, it is a closed group, it is a set amount of people. You're doing emotional groups with them in the morning, and then somewhere in your program, you have interwoven also a craft activity. But we know now craft is just a placeholder in our program. We're actually talking about facilitating something on a deeper level. We have a specific goal that we want to achieve, and it's not just the making of crafts. Now, the one I want to put to you today is about how to use crafts as a way that we can be facilitating a process, a team process, or to put it more in occupational therapy terminology, how can we use it to address occupational performance area? So the obvious one we select here is social participation. So for social participation, I need to be able to have a certain amount of interpersonal relationship with a person, knowing there's give and take, there's listening, there's talking, there's kind of being together, there's this reciprocal behavior, there's observational, observing nonverbal behaviors from other people. And so often these are some of the things that get lost when we facilitate groups, and we as therapists miss some of these cues. And so what really is nice is when we actually give our clients a project to do, a craft project to do as a team together. And we will facilitate from the sidelines, coming in and stepping out, whatever becomes a need of this team. And so it becomes slightly more process orientated. But our ultimate goal is about improving social participation, improving the ability to work in a team. And we know as occupational therapists, one of the biggest reasons why people fail to return to work has to do with interpersonal relationships and social participation. And that is why it becomes key to address that in our interventions, whether it's inpatient or outpatient. So one of the ways of thinking about is to give a project to the clients or the client group, and they need to select the project that they want to do. So often we would say we would like to, whatever you're going to make, we're going to give to a creche that have minimal resources, come from a vulnerable, disadvantaged community. And so we also like to elicit the feeling of altruism. And we tell them they have to select anything. We have a couple of craft books out there. We have a couple of books about toys for children. And we put it out there for the group then to have a look at. And then together as a group, choose one project that they want to achieve. And then use 2 or 3 days, consecutive days, in which they then can not just plan the project, but implement it, and then also make sure that they see to the finer details and the quality of the product. So that is kind of the process that'll happen in terms of there's a specific project that they want to finish and a specific project or product that needs to be completed by 2 or 3 days, depending on how long you want to run with this project. You might even be able to want to run it for 5 days. And so when you give them the option, we've had some wonderful things come up. We've had clients who've made dominoes, and each of the blocks were painted, and each of them had the numbers, and there was a box made for it. And together as a group, everybody is working on this box of dominoes. And then you can ask me, but where does the intervention come in? And so you as a therapist on the outside, and you are kind of seeing how the group is facilitating this process. But let's say, for instance, the group has hit a point, an obstacle, a barrier, because they actually can't brainstorm. They don't really know how. Then you will step in and facilitate the process of brainstorming. Now they've got a lot of ideas on the table. Now you step back again and give them the opportunity to see how they can select something. Now they've selected something, but now there's conflict because some of them want this and others wanted this size and somebody else wants something else. Now you come in again as a therapist and you facilitate conflict resolution for this problem that needs to be addressed in the group. And then you step out again. So you're almost on the outskirts, only stepping in to facilitate when the group or the team is struggling with something. And by doing that, you are kind of showing them, becoming setting the model or the norm of how you would go about solving problems, making decisions, coming up with ideas, that through the process they are taught how to have these skills without you necessarily giving them the information, the didactic educational steps, but it's more about the process and the experience and the immediate impact that they can see on the group. But you're also there on the outskirts to facilitate anything in their team process that'll come up. Maybe through this, they are starting to have a conversation about, yes, but who constitutes a vulnerable community? And aren't we all vulnerable? And you can hear that this is something that the group is grappling with. Maybe you want to step in and ask one or two questions or have group members speak directly to each other and really start hearing each other when you can feel there's either stereotyping that has come up or there's barriers, people are not hearing each other, then you facilitate that process. So the project is a space that you're allowing them to be able to do something using crafts. And through that process, you are showing them the skills, the experience, how to manage working together as a team, how to improve their social participation. And of course, at the end, there's a lot of cohesion because we did this together as a group. There's a lot of taking photos and look what we've achieved. And often what's nice in a group project is that people are pushed a little bit to their limits. If they had done it individually, sometimes then we can ignore people or we can just go with our own minds or our own perspective, our own views. And in this working together as a group, a lot of themes are elicited, a lot of problems arise, and that the group learns how to engage with that and how to resolve it together as a group. So examples, I want to quickly show you what, again, one of my colleagues designed this, and I just absolutely love this. This was presented at a POTS conference, I think in 2014, if I don't have it mistaken. And she showed how their groups, each group took a room of a dollhouse, and eventually with the different groups, they completed a dollhouse. And the materials are often something in South Africa that is a barrier, that things can get quite expensive. And so you'll see how the doll's house is made of bits and pieces of materials, but so beautifully crafted. And as you look at this, I want you to ask yourself the question, do we often underestimate our clients' abilities? So let's have a quick look. I want to just I hope you can see this. No, you can't. Just give me a minute. All right, let's try one more time. There we go. All right. So have a look at the doll's house and have a look at each of the rooms that was done by a group. And all the planning that went into it. The group together had to say, all right, what it is that they actually want to achieve, where to plan it, what we're going to use for the bath or the toilet. And you'll see there's a lot of matches, burnt matches, matchboxes, foil, little mosaic blocks. that is used in each of these rooms. Isn't that just delightful? Other projects, they can make one of those towns that the preschool children take their little cars and drive around on the road through this town, and they can make that on a cardboard that's placed on the ground. Other big team projects, one of my colleagues uses doll making, and they write a little bit of a script, and the dolls are made for this puppet show, and together as a team, they make the story and the puppets for a puppet show. So great ideas. Again, I want to encourage you by just understanding the principle, have a look at what you can think of, what creative ideas you can come up with in terms of a project that is 2, 3, 4 days long that you can journey with a group through this creative project. All right, looking forward to seeing you in the next group. Pop us some comments. What are ideas that you've come up with? Or maybe you're already using this. I'd love to hear what type of activities you've used and how they've worked. And again, to join the conversation and for us all to learn from each other. In the meantime, happy facilitating.